Welcome to the Be Real podcast with your hosts, Joe Cebula and Bobby Maximus. Bobby, what's on your mind today?
I want to talk about the 130-hour rule, Joe.
All right.
Here's the deal.
What brings this up? Why now?
So I post about it a lot on social media, and I always get questions. Where did this number came from? Or where did this number come from? What's the rule? Is this actually a rule? This is pseudoscience. This is bro science, like whatever. And it kind of is a little bit of pseudoscience. It is kind of bro science, but it makes perfect sense when I explain it to you.
Yeah, I post this a lot too because I used this as my guideline for my transformation years back. And so I was basically the poster child for the 130-hour rule. So I've posted this as well, and I get a lot of pushback in the comments. People saying this is BS, people saying you're making this stuff up, trying to fix it, trying to assume that if you did 130 hours of straight training, you could transform your body without proper rest, without proper breaks in between.
And here's the irony of that. We live in a day and age where if I tell somebody you can get fit training 15 minutes a week, they'll believe it. If I can sell a program called V-Shreds, people will believe it. If I sell some magic supplement, people will believe it. But all of a sudden, I say you can get fit in 130 hours, and people lose their minds.
Yeah.
But it's also funny that people don't know how to read, because the title, the hook, is Get Fit in 130 Hours. But when you read the description, it makes perfect sense. So I want to talk about where it came from and why, even though this is a little bit of pseudoscience, it's a little bit of bro science, it's actually factual, truthful information. So first of all, it came from this. The Maximus body, known all over the world as the Swole Bible, a best-selling book that I wrote for men's health with a guy I respect like crazy, Michael Easter. And,
and
when we were writing the book,
mine is right here behind the camera.
I like it. All right, you've
Always
got
within
one.
arm's reach.
Okay. So one of the questions that came up when we were working on this book together was, how long do you think it would take to get somebody fit? And I had to think about it. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. When you ask me, what does fit mean? I want to ask fit for what are fit compared to
That's the real question, because
right?
that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Like, can I get you to lose 20 pounds in a month? Absolutely. Does that mean you're fit? I'm not so sure. So what I settled on, just from years of training people, if you work with me an hour a day hard, 5 days a week, for 6 straight months, and you pay attention to your nutrition, and you pay attention to your sleep, and you do something to mitigate stress, and you pay attention to self-care, you'll see a major change. I will consider you fit. The key to it all is the workouts have to be progressive, and they have to challenge you, and they have to be hard. So all things have to be in place. If
you say it that way, it's like, yeah, obviously. If someone trained with you hard an hour a day, 5 days a week for 6 months and took care of all the stuff outside the gym, of course they'd be super fit.
I've seen people lose 80 pounds in 6 months doing that, Joe.
Yeah, but if you tell people that's 130 training hours, it's pseudoscience, it's BS.
Yeah, they freak out, right? So that's where it came from. The key is, again, you got to work out hard, you got to eat right, and you got to sleep right. And there's 3 things I want to add to those. 1, you probably don't work out that hard. Like a hard workout, you got to work out really, really hard. Like it has to be. I know that everyone on social media wants to talk about progressive overload training. I know that everyone wants to say that their workouts are a challenge, but challenge, fit, progressive overload, they're all relative terms.
Yeah.
So you can tell me you work out hard. You can tell me you went beast mode today. You can tell me you did a savage workout. Did you do 100 burpees in 5 minutes? Did you run a 10K in under 50 minutes? Did you deadlift 600 pounds? Did you do Fran in 1 minute and 27 seconds? Did you, like, whatever your metric of fitness is? I think a guy, actually I know this, I don't know why I'm saying I think. The 5K world record was just broken for running. 12 minutes and 47 seconds. That's for a 5K. So I get that you think you were working hard when you ran your 20-minute 5K, but like you didn't push yourself that hard. You're not that fit. You're not that good at running. Relatively, of course. People are walking around here thinking a 400-pound deadlift, you're the strongest person in the universe. Eddie Hall did 1,200 pounds. So it's all a relative term. But a lot of people think because they showed up, they swiped their membership card at the gym, that they worked out hard. And that's not necessarily the case. You know you're working out hard. And the kind of workouts that I'm talking about here, Joe, they're the kind of workouts that put you in a mental fog for a day. They're the kind of workouts that you're nervous. We used to have a thing called the P test, right? People would come in the gym, the workout was written on the whiteboard. If you looked at the whiteboard and you immediately had to go to the bathroom to prepare for the workout, that meant the workout was hard enough. Like that's how much the workout should challenge you. And so that's the intensity you need to be training at for this program to work.
You know, I had this thought yesterday. I wanted to share this with you. This is a perfect time because looking at fitness influencers and the posts that they put up, and you know, some is great information, some is junk. I mean, you got to sort through it. But every image is, you know, them looking their best. Always a highlight reel. What I don't see these days is people sweating.
Yep.
Right. You'll see someone demonstrating an exercise with light dumbbells or whatever, but I don't see people legitimately working hard in the gym. And so I think it's real easy for people who are more on the consumer side, right? Not fitness professionals, but people who are trying to get fit, to look at what their favorite influencers are doing and think, oh, I work at least that hard, so I must be crushing it.
But in fairness, that's how content is shot. Like, I want you to think about this for a little bit, because I did a heavy day for my filming yesterday for YouTube. I can go hard because I have a camera guy. I don't have to worry about that aspect. If you have to stop in the middle of your circuit, change the camera angle, adjust the lighting, fix you got to just understand it's contrived to begin with. And so I don't look at social media. Whenever I see a post, I don't assume anybody's working out for real. I mean, maybe if I see like the third-party footage from the CrossFit Games or like from whatever, I'm like, oh, they're actually doing the workout, right? But if someone's filming on their cell phone, I assume they had to set it up, they had to adjust it, they had to move, they had to push pause. If
they had to have the ring light, and they had to have like a microphone on and everything, right?
If you're worried about that, you're not training that hard. Like if you were to row, I posted about this yesterday, rowing a 6'10" 2K for time on a rower. If you row a 6'10" 2K on a rower, you're not casually getting off the rower, walking over to your phone, unhooking it from the tripod, and getting it ready from social media, right? You've probably got, if that took you 6 minutes and 10 seconds, there's probably a good 5 to 10 minutes of just dead airtime of you being on the ground, rolling around.
Well, I was going to say, we used to do that, right? It was like trying to do the 2K row for time. And half the group, you know, we'd have 20, 30 people in a seminar, and half the group would be out in the parking lot, lying in the dirt, staring up at the clouds.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. So you're probably not training that hard. But back to the 130-hour rule. If you want this change to take place, you have to work out hard. The kind of workout that puts you in a mental fog, the kind of workout that causes you pain, discomfort. I'm not saying you have to throw up for a workout to be effective.
Right. It's capacity and potential, right? Like the training needs to expand your capacity. Your potential is a lot higher than where you're at right now. And Bobby, I'll even say this about you. You're a super fit dude, but your potential for fitness in any one given thing is a lot higher than where it is today.
Oh,
because if you sat and trained, you could get better and better and better. So your training needs to push into that. It needs to expand the capacity. So you can only work out at your capacity. If you're working out below your capacity, you're not really training, right?
You're not going to change. I'll say this, though, because you just put it perfectly. Training. And I want to use my wife as an example. She's currently the all-time world record holder in the 123-pound weight class for the deadlift and the squat. She also owns the all-time world record for the total. She trains Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday she takes off. But when I say training, the next day, actually, I won't even say the next day, 7 days a week, she's sore. 7 days a week, she needs a massage. 7 days a week, there's a complaint about her hips, her ankles, her knees, her back, her neck, her whatever. That's what training looks like. When I was fighting in the UFC and training, There were nights I would roll out of bed and pull myself up on my dresser because I was so sore and so tight. I remember laughing once. I went to the bathroom like a hunchback from my bed to the bathroom, a hunchback. And by the time I was done taking a piss, I was able to stand straight up. I'm not training now. Like, to be real and to be fair, I exercise right now. I work out right now. I'm not pushing myself past my capacity or looking to enlarge my capacity. That's how you have to train to make a real change. It's a lot harder to make a change than it is maintain or just grow slightly. Like, if you're getting ready for, the Mr. Olympia training, if you're getting ready to fight, if you're getting ready, I mean, even with fighting, Joe, my training looks different the month before World Championships than it does now, which is kind of like the off season. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're eating perfect for 6 months. You ain't getting cheat days. You ain't getting the 90-10 rule. You're on the 100-0 rule. Like, you are eating perfect. And I get that it sucks and I get that it's hard, but that's how you drive change. And then
weigh and measure and journal and no, you can't slip up at all. No room for that.
And I know you think 6 hours is enough. No, you need 7. I know you think 7 is enough. No, you need 8. I get that you think 8 is enough. No, you need 9. Like, that's where the 130-hour rule came from. And when you think about it, like in this book, it makes sense. If you did that for 6 months, you would make a massive change. But cue the people in the comments, no, there's no way, it's only 130 hours. Well, 130 hours is a lot of time. And my favorite comment is, well, I'm just going to do this for 7 days straight. No, you have 1 quality hour in you a day, maybe 2. Maybe a high level person has 3, but you're not doing this hour after
your
hour
capacity.
after hour.
You're not fit. You don't have that capacity.
Yep.
The transformation's different when you're incredibly fit, right? You could probably do it faster because your capacity for training is higher.
Well, you also, actually, I'll push back on that. You can't transform when you're already fit. How much is a guy like me going to change? Like, if my
I would go a different direction. Look at when Eddie Hall pulled his, 1,200 pound deadlift or whatever. He didn't look super fit. He looked big. And then shortly after that, he went on a shred and he looked like a monster, right? Like a different look, but he wasn't pulling 1,200 pound deadlifts when he was that much lighter.
But I was going to go the other way, because when we talk about transforming your body, people are looking at like the visual look.
Right.
If you're already at 10% body fat, how much of a change are you going to make, right? Like there comes a point where when you're already fit, there's actually that number from stats. If you're at 90% of your capacity, to get 2 more percent, you got to take everything you did and double it. So if you've already got the bicep veins and the chest veins and the abs and everything, like, you're not going to change that much. Like, you're already living, the person that does that, they're already living that perfect lifestyle. They've done the 130-hour rule 10 times back to back to back to back.
Well, again, though, but being fit is a relative measure. So, like, depending on your definition of fitness, you might not look super fit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When I don't know if you've ever seen those images they do of different Olympic athletes for different sports and kind of like the body types they have. Like, the guys that throw the shot put do not look like the male gymnasts.
Nope.
But people would say, I would rather look like the gymnast.
Yeah, and that's fine.
But they might be built for shot put. And it's like, so you can be fit. Power lifters are great examples. That's why I brought up Eddie Hall, because super strong dude, the fittest at that game. But that's at that game. And you don't have to look good to be good.
Well, and then you bring it a step further. Could Eddie Hall do an Ironman? I don't know.
Right.
Like, I mean, maybe he's mentally strong enough to finish it, but you're not competing with Mark Allen. And so that's part of the thing. But in general, we talk about the 130-hour rule. We're talking about general fitness. We're talking about your average person walking around. And for them, their definition of fitness is, do you look good naked? When you go to the pool and take your shirt off, do the other dads ask you what your program is? Do people ask you when you're at Walmart or Costco, do people ask you how much you bench? Like, that's generally the measure of fitness in today's world.
Well, and I think we need to pop out the calculator, because people are going to say, well, why is that 130 hours? So let's just show them, right? We're talking 1 hour a day.
5 days a week.
5 days a week.
Yep.
So that's 5 hours a week. And then 4 weeks in a month. And how many months? 6 months.
There you go.
That's 120 hours.
Yep. And that's without,
Right?
by the way, that's without missing a day.
Exactly.
Like literally, that is your life. Because there's also another underlying assumption. Working out an hour a day is probably not enough either. You probably have to live some kind of, and I actually talk about this in this book. You probably also are living some kind of active lifestyle. Let me give you an example. Shoveled the driveway a few days ago. I don't know if I would consider that exercise. I was up and down the stairs cleaning. I don't know if I would consider that exercise. You go golfing where there's no carts allowed and you walk 10 miles. I don't know if I would consider that exercise. Those are all things that you'll hear people say. It's one of my favorite memes. You know, you work out religiously and then you help a buddy move and he's like, oh, well, I guess you don't need your workout for the day. Nope, I still need a workout for the day. This was just my activity. In some worlds, Joe, I don't consider jiu-jitsu a workout.
Right.
And that's like been a controversial statement for me where people will be like, no, jiu-jitsu is really hard. And I'm like, well, it depends. Sometimes I go to class and it's hard. Sometimes I go to class and it's easy. Sometimes I go to class and I have to teach, so I can't get the training in myself. I don't know if I would count that as a workout. I put the jiu-jitsu, the trampoline park, golf, walking with your spouse, cleaning, moving. I just put that in the general activity category, not necessarily the workout category, if that makes sense. So I'm also making the underlying assumption, if you're doing this 130-hour transformation, if you will, 6-month transformation, you're not just glued to the couch all weekend. Like your 2 off days from working out, you're not just sitting on a couch doing nothing.
But we've made that statement before, right? Like the hour of your day, it's only 4% of your day. Do the math. It's 4%. So what does the other 96% look like? Because if you're just lying on your fat butt, eating bonbons all day, well, that hour a day is only going to have so much impact.
There's actually a stat that Michael pulled for this book that he talks about. Stanford had a study, and I can't remember exactly where it is in the book now where we talk about it, but if you sit for 8 hours, it will cancel 99% of your 1 hour workout. Like that's just what it looks like. So again, this 130-hour rule, not to debunk it, but to talk to you about it, it really was just a clever way for us to sell an idea. Which is what books, which is what the movies, which is what the internet is about when you read the fine print, so to speak. And I can actually show you here, Joe. There we go. There's the print. People see that white bar at the top, the 130-hour rule.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And if you're listening to this, you're not watching the screen. I'm showing you an actual reel or a short that I put up. But it's got a title, the 130-hour rule, and then it's got like 8 paragraphs of writing.
Yeah.
It says very clearly, you have to train an hour a day, 5 days a week, really effing hard. You got to eat right, you got to sleep right, and you got to do this for 6 months straight. One more thing I want to address before we go. 6 months is too long. I have a high school reunion. I want to get my revenge body to make my ex jealous. I want to look good for the pool. I've got something else going on. Can I do it in 3? And the answer is yes.
Yep.
But the cost has to be paid. The same cost. Think of it as a 15-year mortgage or a 30-year mortgage. Your payments are double. So now you're not training an hour a day, 5 days a week. You're doing 2 a days, 5 days a week. You're also, despite the fact I said you were eating perfectly, you're trying to eat even more perfect. You're trying to sleep even better. Like the cost of everything doubles. And I have seen people make eye-popping, earth-shattering, insane transformations in 3 months. You can do it. You just don't want to. Nobody wants to live like that. Like you are go, 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 go. You have zero chill to be able to do that. And that's what that looks like. Chill, right? Like you can't, you have no chill. And we're not talking showing up.
I followed to a T the 12-week program in the book. And I have here somewhere my side-by-side transformation pictures. I just posted it today. It shouldn't be that hard to find. Today being, what is today? Wednesday, the week before this posted, so you might have to look back.
But you did.
So now I
You
can't find
changed
it.
a lot in 12 weeks, but you were in a 12-week training camp.
Yeah, it was a camp that like I had to cancel a lot of appointments I had with clients to squeeze that second workout in. And there were times when, because I was running a CrossFit gym at the time, and there were times when I would have class running, but I would be over on the exercise bike doing an hour of hard intervals.
Yep. And your eating was miserable. You were weighing, you were measuring, you were tracking, you were going to bed hungry, you had no energy, you were exhausted. Like, this is what
I was angry.
Like.
Here we go.
Angry. There we go. Look at that. But that's what it takes.
That was 12 weeks to a T between those pictures, to the day.
It's tough. That's what it takes. And you know, even right now, because we've talked about it, like, Joe, you going to do this again? And you're like, I don't know if I want to go back there. Like, it is.
Maybe do the 6 months, right?
I cannot underestimate that at all. It is hard work. And the final thing before we sign off, the reason this was created was because we were sick and tired of fitness influencers telling people that you can get fit 3 times a week for 20 minutes. Like, it doesn't work like that. That there was some shortcut. Like, no, you're looking at 6 hard months. That's also a really hard program to sell.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby, I want to get fit. How's this going to look? Listen, you're about to have the worst 6 months of your life. You don't want to sign up for that program. Like, but that's real.
Not that message vis-a-vis all the other 30-day boot camp messages, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like why 75 hard works for people.
Yeah.
Like, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, it's 75 straight days of no cheating on your diet, 2 workouts a day. 1 has to be outside. You got to drink enough water. You got to take a selfie every day for accountability. You got to read like 10 pages of book. Like, there's a reason it works. And there's a reason it's called 75 hard. It's not called 75 mid. It's not called 75 easy. But 75, you're looking at close to 3 months of just real hard work. And when you see movie transformations, Joe, it's not 3 weeks of real hard work. It's minimum of 3 months of real, savagely hard work. That's what it takes. We're talking, 2 days and 1,800 calories.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world.
Good times.
Yep. So there you have it, the 130-hour rule. There are no shortcuts. There are no 3 easy payments of $9.99. You are not pulling one over on anybody. You want to get fit? I would start now because clock's ticking. If you start today, it's going to take you 6 months. Start in a month, it's still going to take you 6 months. So get to work. If you like this kind of information, real fitness information, I need you to subscribe. I need you, as kids say, to hit that bell. And I need you to share this with all your friends. In fact, send an email to your friends with this link up and say, in 6 months, you're actually going to look good. You can just say that in the tagline of your text, of your email. 6 months, you're going to look all right. See you next time.